Ready. All right. I'm live. That's right. Today is May 4th. It's amazing. It's been cruising along. It's time flies when you're having fun. And I have been having a lot of fun with all my new friends. And I hope you have too. So before you come on, because nobody's on yet, I'm going to read part of my SP Declare. We're getting there. I think I'm down to 4, which was continued adherence to a person or group pronounced a suppressive person or group by HCO. So probably that would be Bob Minton, Stacy Brooks, Jesse Prince. Those 3 were the first 3 that helped me when I left, as well as Andreas. But I don't think they ever declared Andreas. Hey, hi, Eric. How are you? Good seeing you from Culver City. All right. Born Ancient. Hello. Wow. From North Wales. Very cool. Hi, Annette. All right. I was just going to get into my SP Declare some more, but I guess I'll go on with my regular topic. So, how are you guys tonight? Annette from Las Vegas. All right. I love seeing where all these people are from. It's amazing. It really is. It's very cool. When you see Saturday evening from Seattle. All right. And from Southwest England. All right. I mean, that's fantastic. Talk about array of people. Hi, Dee Dee. How are you? You've been a huge supporter of mine for years. Thank you so much. All of you guys are wonderful. It's really great to see you here. Hi, Carrie Ann from Carrie Ann from Portland, and I Paint Girl from Portland. Okay. And Sharon Gregg from Mid Michigan. Okay. Hello. How are you? Good. Well, I'm glad you guys are here. It's wonderful to see you. I've had a really fun week with all these barbecues with DOA and the gang. Hey, from Morgan Hill, California. I don't know where that is, where Morgan Hill is. Eric, I'm doing all right now that lovely Tory is here to make me feel better. I'll work on it. I'll work on it. All right. And hello from North Carolina. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's an array of people from all different places. This week it's been really fun. We've had Fresno. Okay, that's good. Hi, Annette. Do you know someone? Do you know how Scientology can get the permits so easily? Money. That's what I would guess. They always have been able to. They, I'm pretty sure they pay them off. That's my guess. I can't quote it. I don't know. I was never in on that when I was in, and since I've been out, I just know they always, they get them. You saw how long it took Jessica. They said it'd be a month. Hi, you guys from Toronto. All right, Ontario. Hi, Pip's mom. Henna Catalyst. Okay, from Austin, Texas. But I'm pretty sure they have a line in with the police and they pay them a certain amount of money and they get kind of what they want. I could be wrong. Maybe they have some other trick up their sleeve. I really don't know. But they do get them really fast. But also they could have gotten it, a month ago. They knew this was coming up, so they could have, asked for it then. I don't know. They got one for today within 10 days. See, what is that? We should bring that up. We have to bring up the red paint. I don't know if you guys have noticed the red paint all around their block. But someone last night really wisely, LRX, I think. Anyway, he pointed out that look at the signs. And I realized there aren't any signs. There's none. They just painted them. That's all. So we're going to go talk to the city council about that. Tory, it's really sad to see the divide of the Scientology activists. I really think the SP Foundation and the Aftermath Foundation should let it go. I'm with you on that. Believe me, I have been speaking out for 24 years, giving the 3 goals of OSA. One is distract off of Hubbard, David Miscavige, the church. 2 is divide and conquer, which is what you're talking about. And 3 is just slime the area, which that sort of does too. So I agree with you 100% because they're really working for OSA at that point when they're fighting with each other. It's just stupid. And it's like, I understand they each have their own views and everything else, but get it together for this. That's what I say. It's like, if you're going to be an activist against the Church of Scientology, don't be doing their work. And that is their work. Those are their goals. And you could say, oh, I don't care about OSA. I've heard people say that. And I think they'd get out of the game. If you don't care about OSA and they're actively manipulating the internet, either you get with it and realize what's going on, or what's the point? All right. Now, hi, Drifter. Sophie, hi from New Zealand. All right. All right. And I'm sorry about last night. It got a little weird. I was out on the sidewalk and a gentleman said he'd let someone else be the moderator, and she thankfully helped me a bit. But anyway, we're back to love it. And then if Gucci comes on, she's also my other moderator, which is Jessica's mother. And she's a very wonderful person. And I would have a heart attack if I were her. That's why when I gave birth, I said, please, dear God, don't give me a girl. Give me a boy. Why? Because I knew how insane I was. Not insane, but I was like Jessica. I was all over the place doing things. And I know I would have been crazy driving around, following her. I mean, I would have been nuts. So luckily, that didn't happen. And I have a wonderful son, and I really, really love him. And I saw him tonight. So that was good. That was good. All right. So now the Insomniacs Unite. Good one. I'm sure the cops are just catering to them because of the donations. Right. Yeah, they get donations. Okay, call it that. It's a donation. But it's money one way or the other. And that's how it works. And then they get what they need. All right. So there you go. So the topic for tonight is Scientology and deaths. Why are there so many? It was unbelievable to me to be in Scientology and just see people dying and dying and dying. And now they still are. And it's really, really spooky. It is. And the main thing is they all are, not all, but a lot of them are against medicine. So if they get cancer, they try to do it naturally. I told you, Dr. Denk told me in the 90s, because I was like, why are all these people dying? Hi, Kim. And he said, look, every single person who's tried to handle cancer naturally, who's come through our, clinic, is dead. Some that handled some with medicine, some with natural, some lived, some died. Those are our statistics. That's it. And he wasn't saying it flippantly. It was just like, that's it. It really doesn't work naturally. At least it didn't with their clinic. I'm not saying nobody ever can, because I have read stories where people did, but I wouldn't put my life on it. I wouldn't, especially with all the people that have died in Scientology. It's like, your life is too important. And medicine has come a long way as far as cancer, a really long way. It's your pretty basic faith healing when you take all the flash and glitter off. Yeah, but they don't have any faith. So you can say that, that's what you think, but it isn't faith healing. They don't have faith. They don't even have that. If they had faith, I might see where it would work, but they don't have faith. They don't believe in God. They don't have faith. So what do they have faith in? L. Ron Hubbard, that he's going to come back and heal them? I don't think so. Anyway, they have faith in themselves. Okay. And if you watch the statistics of faith in themselves for the last 40 years, hundreds of them are dead. Many of my best friends are dead. Okay, so they had faith in themselves, and that's your answer to it? I mean, you might think they have faith in themselves, but it doesn't really medically work. So that's the main reason so many Scientologists die, in my opinion, is that they don't do medicine. They wanted me to stop taking medicine for epilepsy. My mother, thank God, jumped in and said, Tory, they're going to kill you. And they did kill another person with epilepsy. They took him off all his medicine and he's dead. So it's like, it's tricky. It's like they're not medical doctors. They know nothing about medicine and they don't have faith. You can say faith, but they don't have faith. Faith in themselves? What is that? I believe I can heal myself. Okay, good, go for it. And when you see person after person after person dying, isn't there a point where you go, maybe I better try something else? Just saying. How come if they're so against medicine and chemicals, and please put the question in front of something so I don't miss it, okay? How come if they're so against medicine and chemicals, do they give those high dosages of niacin for the pure? Because that's not a medicine. It's a vitamin. They don't see it as that. I think many members get heart disease because of that alone. Okay, that's something you think, but I don't know that they've proven that by any means. But I'm not saying those high dosages are good. I almost died on the pure, so it's not a good thing. But it's not a medicine either. It just isn't. It's not the same as chemotherapy or something like that. Okay, here's someone from Australia. Love that I got to watch your lives. You're such an amazing woman. Well, thank you. I work at it. I try to. All right, here's a question from Eric. All right, let's see what it is. Does the medicine the Scientologists take have side effects, and does it affect the brain or anything? Well, first of all, most Scientologists don't take medicine, so no. People like me who do take medicine, Dr. Dank, I finally had to go all the way up lines, and we had to go through my doctor. And Dr. Dank, who was L. Ron Hubbard's doctor, said, no, it doesn't have any side effects as far as auditing. There's nothing that should stop her from getting auditing. And at that point, they let me on to do OT 4 through 8. Okay, so there you go, Eric. I hope that answered it. I don't know other people that are taking medicine that are in Scientology. Question, do they come to terms with death because of the dropping of the body doctrine? Well, that's kind of a general thing. I mean, everybody's an individual. And first of all, they're dead by the time you can't really say. Let's see, did they come to terms with death because of the dropping of the body doctrine? Oh, okay. I think that may be, wait, I think that might be true. Yeah. I think that's very true because they sort of have kind of a glib, like you can just drop your body and come back. That's how they think. So yeah, I think it is. They can come to terms with death because of dropping the body, and it's seeming like I don't think they face it like other people face death. To them, it's just they're dropping the body, they're moving on, and there you go. Okay, and this is thank you for the reminder. Love it. I forgot the like on the way in. Thank you. That's right. Everybody, please hit the like button. All right. And Eric, thanks for the responding to the question. All right. That helps out a lot. Okay, good. I'm glad it does. Good afternoon, everyone. With love from Australia. All right. Now let's see. I'm supposed to call you Lena, right? Is that right? Was that it? Or is it somebody else? Someone else said they have a long name and they said you have a difficulty with my name. Swedish Lena. I don't think you're it though, but it's someone else. But they said, just call me part of their name. Anyway, hi. I'm glad you're here. And thank you, Eric, for hitting the like button. Good. So anyway, it's a complicated subject, death. But when you're part of a group where they just sort of, I mean, this is a true story. I went to a funeral of a father who lost his daughter. She got killed in an automobile accident. And he was there. There was only about probably 10 of us, maybe 15 there. And it was so sad. I mean, he was like begging people to take his son's spirit. He went on and on about how he was like selling a car or something, only it was his son who was dead. And it was just, I mean, even I was just like stunned. I was like, really? You're going to sell you're trying to give us why they should take your son. Somebody needs to give birth to my son. That was his thing. And it was like, oh, it was awful. For me, it was just awful. I felt really icky. It was just sort of like, ooh. Anyway, it happens. I've seen a lot of weird things in Scientology. Yeah, good, Annette. I'm glad. All right, here's a question. When you were in Scientology, did you believe that you had I think you mean a past life. You said a part life. Did you ever have moments during auditing where you thought you were your past life? Honestly, I really didn't. I didn't. Did you believe that you had a past life? I think you kind of. It's like Hubbard said, clear as, I realized I'm creating my own reactive mind. Well, that's part of your reactive mind. Like, okay, well, when, let's say you had a pain. All right, is there an earlier similar pain? You go to something, all right, I'm 3 and I fell and I hurt myself. Okay, is there an earlier similar pain? Now you're at birth, right? And it's like, okay, I'm getting born and it's really dark and that, and it still doesn't go away. Okay, is there an earlier similar pain? So for me, and this is just me, I can only speak for me, but it really didn't seem real to me that I lived before. Not that I didn't, it just didn't seem, I didn't have anything like a lot of people have, like, I was King so-and-so, and a lot of women are like, I was Cleopatra, and I met Julius Caesar, and, all these different people. I never had that. I didn't have any of that. And even the past life stuff, I was usually in some kind of a battle, out on the field with a bunch of people fighting. That was it. It was just sort of, and somehow I would get through it and then I would feel better and okay, your needle's floating, good, end of session, right? But it wasn't ever really real to me that I lived before. Not that I didn't, but it just wasn't real to me that I did. So that's the answer. Let's see. Did you ever have moments during auditing where you thought you saw your past life? I think so, that I do, because you're sort of creating it. And so you get back to this war and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see it. All right, there you go, bop, and that's it. Oh, Lena. Okay, Swedish Lena. Okay, all right. What did I call you? Yeah, Lena. That's right. That was it. Thank you. Thank you very much for reminding me. In regards to past lives, no one ever said that they were just plain Jane. That's not true. That is not true at all. Were you in Scientology, Lena? Because Hubbard said a lot of people were plain Janes. He said a lot of people who claimed they were King so-and-so or some famous person were really the guy shining his shoes, or something like that, a butler or something. It's not like everybody was famous. A lot of people in Scientology take on these identities and say they were. And after I met 2 Julius Caesars in one day, I went, okay, this is a bunch of, what? I mean, it's like the other guy was positive. I thought, well, it's a good thing I didn't go to medical school. I would have never met Julius Caesar there. And then I went sat at another booth and met another guy, and he said he was Julius Caesar. And that's when I went, wait a minute, this is just BS. So I put it in the closet. That's where it stayed. So I think some people do. I did. I definitely did. I was the plain Jane. That was just like I wasn't really anybody because I didn't want to make up that I was something special that I didn't think I was. Okay, now what is this? This is from XX, who I don't know who that is. Didn't see one child get SA'd in all your time being in Scientology as a high-ranking member like Mike Rinder. I was not like Mike Rinder or Leah Remini. I wasn't at all. The Italian kid that saw you and said you couldn't be on medication was 14. No, he was 18, I think. 17, 18. He wasn't 14. He was like 18. He might have been 19. I don't know how old he was, but he was not medically trained. And I don't know what SA is. So you have to tell me what SA is, or somebody else, because I don't know what it is. And I know you guys talk about it a lot, but I don't know what it is. So the other name you remembered was Sophia, whose YouTube handle was Mac. Okay, I don't. That I don't. Okay. Okay, so here's Lena. I was never in. I just had the feeling that most people seem to feel important during auditing. I think a lot of people do. Like I'm saying, they take on these different identities that are, very famous identities. But a lot of people don't, like me, because I just thought, no, it didn't ever feel like it was true. So I didn't do it. So I think it just depends on the person, really. But I was sort of a regular person in auditing, and I always thought, that's just the way it is. Hey, hi. Thanks for saying hi. Thank you all for being here, and love it. Thank you for helping us out. Yeah. I wasn't high ranking. I wasn't a celebrity. I was a public. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, the difference in Sea Org and public. Mike Rinder was Sea Org. Okay, let's see. This is Sea. I always get mixed up with this, but one side is Sea Org, one side is public. I was not Sea Org. I was in the Sea Org for a minute, basically. I think 3 weeks. I was out on the ship doing ship training. So I was never really on post in the Sea Org, ever. Because they routed me out. Because I have epilepsy. I ran out of my medicine. I said I've got to get a refill. They sent me to a young kid. I don't know his exact age, but he was not medically trained. I will tell you that. And he insisted, we're the top 10% of the planet, and you have to get off your medicine. Now you can say, well, that's your fault, Tory. You didn't have to. And yeah, sure. I get it. So you come over to my house and we'll have a talk, because whoever you are, I get these people that are kind of like against me for some reason. There's 2 of them, and I know who they are, and I get it. And if you have something to say, you come over to my house and say it to my face, because I tried to say something to you and you said no. And, how can you iron something out if you won't talk to someone? You don't know my story. You don't know it. Just like this, you think I was like Mike Rinder and Leah. Hell no. Leah Remini was a celebrity. So she's way different than Mike Rinder. Mike Rinder was in the Sea Organization. Way different, both of them. I was not there at all. I wasn't a celebrity, and I wasn't ever on post in the Sea Org. So there you go. All right, so now let's see. Okay, let me just check. Okay, Kiko. Ah, nice. I sent the blue earbuds on the wish list to Jessica's P.O. box. Should be there on Thursday. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. That's one thing I do want to say is I've had some wonderful things happen in the last few days. I don't even think she's on tonight, but Tilty Bird, she made this beautiful, I'm going to show you this. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I'm going to do it more than once because she's not here tonight. But anyway, and then last night, now I don't know, I tried to text Jessica to find out, but somebody sent all of us, I think it's from Jessica's site, but they sent us these little squirrels. Aren't they cute? And they each have our names on them, DOA, and each one of the group is really cute. And then Jessica also brought this out and said it was from someone, I think from this site, Susan, I think she said. Isn't that cool though? Really cool. So anyway, thank you. I love this group. I love these people. They're very, very kind and very generous. But I mean, just the kindness alone is just so nice for me. It's really wonderful. They're very thoughtful. They're very helpful for me. Yeah. Well, I wasn't less than 22. I got in when I was 22. Remember that at that point time, Tory was less than 20 years old. No, I wasn't. I was 22, probably 23 by then. Hi, everyone listening from Kentucky. All right. Tory, your jewelry box would be like Aladdin's cave. I don't know what that means. Just because I love jewelry. Yeah, it's all from these gift shows. We went to these gift shows for years, twice a year. My friend invited me, and he's the guy. Well, I can't say it anyway. Anyway, he took me to these gift shows with his wife until she passed away. And then we continued on since then. And so I've been buying and stuff like this that's, it looks really pretty, but it's $5, $10, maybe 15. It's nothing because it's wholesale. See, the whole thing was a wholesale gift show. So you could get a lot of stuff. It was really good. I really miss it. I do. Hopping on from UK. All right. Up Mayo. Titty Bird's card is beautiful, isn't it? I know. We'll have to wait till she gets on. I'll show it again. Tory loved the squirrels, and that's beautiful art. I know. It's really sweet. It's very, very sweet. And it says, the message says, you have a voice and you can use it. I love that. Isn't that great? Really beautiful. So anyway, hopefully she'll come on and we'll get to thank her. Please check the start. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that. Okay, they're up here. Okay, here we go. All right. I think I did in past lives. I checked that one. Okay. I think I got all of them. I got to go back to live because the starred ones are just 3 of them. Okay, so now wait. You're saying check the starred comment. Those squirrels are so cute. I love they are personalized. I know, me too. I do too. It was very sweet, whoever did it. And can you imagine they did it for a whole bunch of people? Everybody got one, so it was really cute. All right. Okay, I think we got all the starred ones. Love it. Oh, here we are, YRP. You're the one who said it. I mentioned you earlier. And we were all fully mature and aware of the world at age 22, 23. Not in the 60s for sure. Truly, thank you. Yeah, you were the one who mentioned the thing, though, about the red. Remember? Because it's all painted red. And you were the one who I believe mentioned that I should check the signs. And then I went and looked at the signs and there are no signs. So that's when I think you said, go to this. Well, I talked to the police later because they were going to give me a ticket. And I pointed out, look, there's nowhere to park. Everything around here is red. And he said, okay, you have to go to the city council for that and get them to change it. So we'll see what we can do. We'll give it a shot. I know Scientology, they've got their ins, and we'll just see what we can do. All right, now here's this. Tory, you have taught me so much about Scientology. When did you leave? Love your site, watching from Ireland. Ooh, I love Ireland. I left July 19th, 2000. In 2000. So I really left in 2000. I didn't realize I was going to be escaping out. I thought I was just going to leave. And Bob Minton said, just get a something to go to the airport, and there'll be a ticket at the airport at LAX. So I said, okay. So I got it all set up, and at 8 a.m, no one came. So I called, said, what happened? And they said, someone anonymously canceled it. Now, the critics had been telling me they did stuff like this, but I didn't believe it. I was like, no, they don't. Well, they did. And that was just the beginning of it. And I've told the whole story, and I have the whole escape story on my site. You can watch it. But that was the beginning of it. And I tell people all the time, between LAX and Tampa, I became an activist. They made me into an activist. I had called Stacy in this room saying, Stacy, I am not going to speak out. I'm not going to picket. I'm not going to picket. I'm not going to speak out, and I'm not going to make videos. Yeah. And she said, Tory, we're only doing for you. And I know it's an old phone, but it is. And I have my cell phone also. So I have both. And so she said, Tory, we're only doing for you what we wish someone had done for us when we left the Sea Org. Because they left the Sea Org. I left Scientology. But either way, you're leaving. And so I said, okay, that was fair. But now the van's canceled going to the airport. So I finally tried to get a van, and all of the vans in my area are all booked. What do you know? And so then I get to the airport, and the plane is canceled. The vice president is there, and the rest is on the escape story. But they turned me into an activist. They really did. It was amazing. And from LAX to Tampa Airport, boom. Susan King, hi, terrific, Tory. Susan from Australia. All right. I've never been in, but I think I have stirred the possum with Scientology. I suspect they live around me and other connections. So weird behavior. Yeah, I mean, just be careful on that, because they don't have the amount of people they used to have to go after people that were never in. They generally are trying to pick on the people that were in, that are out speaking out. I'm not saying they're not, but I've met many, many people who are positive. All these weird things happening to them are because of Scientology, and usually not. I'm not saying they're not, but keep a record of it. That's all I can say. I set up a thing with my police department, and I've made a paper trail of it. And anytime something happens, I explained it to them. I said, it's like gaslighting. So I can't prove it, but I can show you every day what happens, so you get an idea of how creepy these people are. And now the police department's on my side. In Scientology, you can race over there and try to do whatever you want, because they know they have a paper trail of what you've done to me. So go for it. Give it your best shot. All right. I started a comment that Sweet Kiko K ordered your earbuds for you. They're going to Justice P.O. Box, arriving Thursday. All right. All right. I love that. Okay. So these are earbuds. So this is to listen to things, right? Okay. And YRB, yes, that's me. Hi, Saul. Oh, I finally got to meet Saul in person. That was really fun. Really, really fun. Was that Boston video made right after you left? Put question before you do these things, or I could easily miss them. And that's a question. No, it was made about 2 weeks after I left, which is why I'm like, Scientology believes in communication, because I still thought it did. I hadn't been out long enough to realize, no, they don't. I mean, Scientologists in the Truman Show do, but they don't really show it. They can only talk to the people in the show. They can't talk to people outside the show. And that I didn't know. I really didn't. Okay, Eric, you're saying your mom received phone calls from Scientology back in the 70s. They tried to have join the cult, and she said she wasn't going to join to them and said no. Good. Well, good for her. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, you left already, Saul? I had a blast meeting you and can't wait to see you again. You need anything? LM Key, Tory, Saul Goodman on YouTube. I didn't know you were left already. That's a bummer. I thought you were going to be here for a while. Well, it was wonderful meeting you too. I really loved it. I did. It's so fun to meet people that you know online and then meet them in person. It's like, wow. All right, Titty Bird's card is lovely with the fact that it says about finding your voice. You being back to bringing so much to those who are new to the world of Scientology, for us old followers as well. Thank you. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It is. It's really lovely that you made that. I love it. Magoo, hello from Melissa. Hello. Hi. Good to see you. I don't know what this person's talking about. True, but I think they need ID to cancel things. They can get the info, but I don't think they can do more than know the info. Okay. I guess you must be talking to. Oh, I think you're talking to somebody else. Anyway, I try to put the @ sign in front of it if you're talking to someone else. Hey, Marissa. Thank you. Hi, Legend Tory. Thank you. Oh, you're leaving in the morning. Boo. I thought you were staying for a month. Phooey. I think Denver J is staying for a month. Okay, and you'll be back. Okay, good. I'm glad you'll be back because we didn't get to spend any time together. All right. Tori, I saw the name. No, wait, what's this? Tori, I saw the name of the live and just wanted to check in on all of you and say I love you all. Well, thank you, Marissa. I appreciate that. We love you too. Good evening. Here's another nice fellow. Good evening. Kiko is a lady, I think. Yes, Denver J is staying for a month. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I really am. He was so nice last night. We had a great time together. We really did. It was really a fun day. I mean, all these barbecues have been fantastic. DOA has just been, he's like Santa Claus. That's what he reminds me of because he's just funny and he puts out all these flags that the people from his chat sent him. And so it's got all these colorful flags out there. So you can, you recognize the area. And then he's cooking and he's very good cook too. I mean, it's really amazing. I don't know if I'm a lady, but yes, I'm a female. And Keiko. Okay, Keiko. Thank you. Thank you, Keiko. All right, good. So anyway, it's been fun. It's really, and the people, I mean, I was telling my son this tonight. It's like so amazing. They're from all different groups of people, just every different age groups, different people, but we all come together and it's like everybody gets along. It's really wonderful. I think it's really neat to see, huh? Anyway, thank you, Keiko, for explaining that. Okay, good. So anyway, the other part of death in Scientology that I always try to mention every few videos because I think it's really important is that I know personally 17 young people who took their own lives, and almost all of them are in the age bracket of 16 to 26, or probably 18 to 26, but it's right around in that age bracket. So I try to tell young people, just get through that bracket because then you're better. I don't know what happens, but you just are. And it's a tough time. It is. People don't know that it's a tough time because everybody acts like everything's so great. But internally, a lot of people have a lot of trouble during that time. So don't take your life. That's my thing. Don't. Because it isn't just one person. One of my dear friend's sons shot himself to death. And I was at UCLA for the whole thing. And it was just tragic. It was just so awful. And I think he was in surgery for 7 hours. And the doctor finally came out and he said, look, there's nothing I can do. He's going to be a vegetable for the rest of his life. And that's it. And so they let him go. But it was like, it is never one person. Like you take your life, it's not just you. There's a huge ripple of pain that goes out. And so it's very important that, you stay alive, you live your life. You know what I mean? And find the good parts about life. I was listening to Bruce Springsteen with, hope. What does he say? I love this song. It's like, no, it's strength. What is it? Strength, hope, love, and one other thing. Faith. That's it. Strength, faith, hope, and love. And I thought it's such a great song. Strength. I think it's strength, faith. I know it's faith, hope, and love. And it's like, you got to keep those things in. You keep those things in and your life is going to be it's going to be good. It is. You think there are more deaths in Scientology due to the fact that the constant amount of stress. That's some of it, yeah. It can cause so many health issues. Yeah, I definitely think that's part of it. But I think the biggest part is that they don't take medicine. And they really look down on people who do take medicine. And I can speak from that personally. I know, it was really tragic. He a lot of these kids, like Liz Gale's brother, Philip Gale, he jumped out of MIT on L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. And I know this because the kids, Scientology did nothing. They swept it under the rug. The kid was a brilliant kid who did a lot of the technical end of Earthlink. So he was a brilliant kid. And Scientology just swept it under the rug, said nothing. But the kids at the university said, no, we're going to put up a website about this and we're going to highlight it because here's what happened. Philip Gale's mother is one of either the president or one of the top executives of Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which nothing could be farther from that term. They are so far from human rights. It's a ridiculous amount. But she was on, Philip's mother was part of that board, and they're against all psychiatry, all psychology, any therapy. So he had nowhere to go. So he wrote Einstein's law of relativity, picked up a chair, smashed out a window, and jumped 15 stories. Can you imagine that? What a tragedy. So I try to remind people, don't take your life. Don't. I mean, we needed him. And each of the kids that are gone, it's like, it's a real tragedy. It is. So yeah, I do think stress is part of it for sure. And child abuse, that's All those things that people talk about are things that can cause people to I mean, a couple of these kids were in the Sea Org. That's stress in itself. And they wanted to get out, and it was a big fight. And I remember talking to Osa and saying, look, you took these kids out of high school. You took them out of high school when they were underage. You put them in the Sea Org, signing a billion-year contract. You know they didn't want to stay. I knew they didn't want to stay. And I said, I mean, I didn't know it, but I was pretty sure they didn't want to stay because they ended up getting these huge freeloaders debts when they left, meaning probably after a month, they started saying, I want to go home because they promised them everything, give them nothing. So then once they, now they've got the freeloaders debt, they're underage, so they can't work to pay off the freeloaders debt. It was a mess. And I remember telling this lady at OSA, I said, you are creating an army of people that will never, ever join Scientology, because Scientology has the Sea Org, and back then they had Class 5 orgs and Class 4 orgs and missions, and they had the WISE companies, and there were like a lot of different things people could work at if they wanted to. But I pointed out to her, these kids are never, ever going to work in Scientology again, ever, because of what you've done. And she said, you know what, you're right. Let the parents know that they can get rid of the freeloader debt if they write to me. Now, only one couple did, friends of mine. Unfortunately, the mother's dead now, but because of cancer, and she wouldn't handle it without anything but natural, and she's dead. But, at least I tried. I did. I tried to get them to understand. You can't just treat kids this way. They took my son. I went and got him the next day. I said, no. Luckily he'd already decided. It was like all these kids at Orange, and my son's way in the back in black. And I said, you come here. And he comes over and he goes, have you heard the bad news? And I said, no, what's the bad news? And he said, I don't want to be in the Sea Org. And I said, okay, let's go. Get your stuff. We're going upstairs. And I said, and get everything, because you're not coming back here again, Justin. So we got everything. I said, now we're going to go to Bridge. And we went over to Bridge. And I said to Gavin, who had recruited him, who is now part of the suit with Leah against the church, David Miscavige and Gavin Potter, because I've said for years, he should be in prison for what he did to these kids. It was awful. And so now I go to Bridge and I talk to Gavin and I say, that was an illegal reg cycle, and all these kids that you're regging underage is illegal. It's not okay. And I should have called the police at that point. I should have. But I was in the Truman Show and you couldn't call the police, so I didn't. But anyway, point being, he said, okay, I don't have the authority to do that. I said, I want this contract written up or torn up. He said, I don't have the authority to do that. I said, then you find somebody who does, because I'm leaving in 15 minutes. And so he went up, got the head of Bridge. She came down. I explained that it's an illegal reg cycle. And I said, I don't want my son to be an ex-Sea Org member. He was never in the Sea Org. He was in it for not even 24 hours, for 12 hours. He was in the Sea Org. And he is now leaving for good. So I want you to tear it up. And I do not want him to have the status of ex-Sea Org, which is not right. And I talked about the other kids and how Gavin should not be doing that. She kind of agreed with me, but I think they still continue to take kids in, and it's not okay. But it's also not okay for the parents to not do anything. Like I went and got my kid back. They took him, and then I said, no, he's coming with me. And he had already decided he didn't want to. I knew he didn't. He didn't want to be in it. But Scientology is an abusive organization, and they try to say they're human rights experts and all this stuff. It's like, no. So, yeah, there you go. All right, here's a question from Little Sparrow. What's your thoughts on how a parent in Scientology can watch their own children suffer medically? Ooh. As a mama, I can't imagine being so disconnected to my emotions and so heartless. Well, you've got to give me an example of that because um, I don't know any parents who watch their children suffer. I don't personally. Um, I just don't. So I wasn't in on that. It's sort of like someone is sort of making assumptions in that area that are not true. I wasn't in on that. I don't have. What's your thoughts on how a parent in Scientology can watch their own children suffer medically? It's awful. I mean, no child should have to suffer ever. So, yeah, I can't imagine being so disconnected to my emotions and so heartless. I know. But I don't really, you have to kind of give me a real example of someone that you know where that happened because I personally don't, I haven't observed that. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I wasn't part of that. So I agree with you. It's awful and it shouldn't happen. Um, okay, good. So you saw a few of Bunker's upscaled vintage videos this week. They're very informative. Yeah. Bunker's got a whole wonderful slew of videos, and his time has come. I would love to fly out and protest with you. I'll email you when I can swing it. All right, Kim. Great. All right. YRB. That's a story worth more documents about the kids that were underage in Sea Org that were burdened with freeloader death names. No, I don't, because you have to have the specifics for it. And I'm just saying two of them, I can't say it with, I don't know. I'm not going to say things that I don't know are true. I know that these kids took their lives. Why they took them, I have many, many different viewpoints on them, and they're not just that. And I'm not going to make some document about something that I don't know about. I know those two kids I know 17 kids who took their lives, but I don't know all their names anymore. But as I would have these parties, people would say, oh yeah, I'm so and so, and my kid took his life, and different people. I would meet people, and I was like, God. So hopefully that's slowed down. I don't know. It's a story worth more documents about the kids that were underage in Sea Org that were burdened with freeloader death names. Freeloader death names. Okay. They were kids that had the freeloader death bills. And I don't know if that's why they took their lives. I don't think it was. I have other theories on it of what what it was. And one of them is that I think most of them, one of them had a parent in, one of them had a parent out, or they wanted out. So I think it's like a rubber band where it gets stretched farther and farther and farther, and then finally it just snaps. And that's it. And maybe a lot of people aren't going to like this, but for years, ever since we had Nintendo, I thought, there's too much death in this because there was a lot of death in Nintendo. And I finally threw it out. I said, no, we're not going to have this in the house because it was just too much death. And I'd go, what happened? Oh, I died again. Oh, I died again. I was like, no, this isn't going. This is too much. So I think the gaming industry also has a lot of suicide and a lot of death and makes it very normalized for kids. And I think it's dangerous. I do, in that sense. I've seen the Truman Show and I didn't know it was science. Well, it isn't Scientology. It isn't. It's my analogy that it's like the Truman Show. And I didn't know it was Scientology until I saw the movie, and now I do. Yeah, I'm just saying it's like the Truman Show. It's like the Scientology Truman Show. There's different, like Disney has its own little Truman Show. Different groups have their own Truman Show, but Scientology for sure, it's very similar, isn't it? Yeah. Question. All right. Thank you for asking the question and putting the question mark. I like that. When you said they came and took your son to the Sea Org, did they take him directly from Delphi School or from your home? Both. They first, my son was late coming home, and I called him up and I said, "Are you with Gavin Potter?" And he was like real giddy. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, put him on the phone." And I said, "Gavin, this is Tory Bazazian. And either my son is home in 15 minutes or I'm calling the police." Because I was like pissed off. I didn't like this shit. So he had him here. He came home and I took him in the bathroom and I said, "Do you want to join the Sea Org?" And he said, "No." I said, "Okay, then there you go. That's it." And so I said to Gavin, "No, he's not going to. He doesn't want to." The next day, he brought one of his best friends and they gave him this whole story about how the end of the world was coming and his just my son's parents and all the parents were going to freeze to death and all this stuff. And they had this whole dramatic story they made up. And of course, he felt like he had to help them out. So they said, "We really need your help." So, okay. So I went with him, with his best friend and with Gavin. So now he's quote unquote in the Sea Org. And I say to my husband, "Look," and this is kind of dramatic that I can think this way, but I can because of epilepsy. That's what I think, because I was always on the outside of the bridge to total freedom. I kind of was on the outside of the Scientology Truman Show. I wasn't like in it because of me taking medicine. And they kept saying, "You can't possibly be a Scientologist because you're taking medicine." Anyway, so I say to Justin, I say to my husband, "Look, what if," and remember, my husband was born in this, my ex-husband. He was born in Scientology. So he didn't know any of the shit that I knew. So I say to him, "Look, what if they are hurting our son? What would a judge say?" Just think about it for a minute. What would a judge say? And he said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, I know." He'd say, "Did you ever go check on your son?" And we'd have to say no, because he was in Scientology. And I said, "So that's not going to happen. We got to go over there and check on him and make sure he's okay." And my husband says, "I can't do that." And I said, "Well, you know what? I can. And I'm going." And I got in my car and I drove over there and I drove up to the horseshoe and they said, "You can't come in." And I said, "Pardon me?" And they said, "You have to come in with a Sea Org member." And I said, "No problem." I knew most of the Sea Org members. So I grabbed somebody, went in, and that's when I saw my son. All these kids in orange and my son's in the corner in black. And that's when I just went, "You here." And that was the end of it. That was it. So he was in for just like a little itty bitty time. But it showed me it's really not okay that they do that kind of stuff. I don't know if they still are or not. I don't. I need to find somebody that's newly out, that has not been out for 20 years, but somebody that just left, and find out if they're still doing that kind of thing now. But luckily Gavin's up in the suit anyway, so I'm happy with that because he hurt a lot of people by doing that, by taking him out of high school. So I'm glad that I hope they nail him. I really do. All right, Annette. Let's see. Yep, I'm a nanny, and one of the kids I took care of took his life by a gun in September. I found him. He was a major gamer. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's I think that's something that needs to be brought up to the gaming industry because it's a lot of kids that are gamers. it's like you have to just get very numb to murder, killing, suicides, things like that. It's dangerous. Anyway, I'm sorry. So this was recent that you're saying this? You're a nanny, and one of the kids I took care of took his life by the gun in September. You mean this last September? Wow. Unreal. Okay, let me know if it was last September. I'm just curious. Now wait a minute. Somebody's saying Tory J keeps asking us in his chat to remind him to call you. He's settling in behind Big Blue. Okay. I don't know how to call him because he's always got on his thing. That I told him that because he's always got on his the live stream. So he needs to call me after I'm done with this. That's what I have to say, is that once we're done with this, he needs to call me. Or tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. That's fine. But he needs to call me because I can't get through to him. It just doesn't work. And he's got my number, so he can call me after 11. Please. Okay, but thank you, Love Maddie, for letting me know that about Jay, because I really want to see him tomorrow. Hey, my Alaska. Hello. Magoo. Sorry I'm late, but I have a note from home. Well, good thing. Then you're excused. Okay. Good thing. Okay, so here we go. They need kids to game so they can run the war computers. It's really sad. They're a great movie called Ender's Game. Yeah, I think I read the book. Yeah. Is that on Netflix for people that have Netflix? That would be good to see. Okay, now this is the chat guidelines. Okay. There you go. For Tory, please use the complete sentences and context. Stick to the topic. No self-promotion or spam. All right. I don't think we're having any problem with the self-promotion or spam, but maybe you're having 86 of them behind me. I don't know. So she's my moderator. So now what's this? Not everybody plays violent games. Oh yeah, for sure. If they're not violent, then that's a different thing. I'm not against all gaming. I'm just saying when it's really I'm talking about lots of deaths, lots of suicides, lots of murders. That's a different thing than what you're talking about. Good games are good. And even some where it has a little bit of it is okay. But when it's just on and on and on. I remember early on, I went with my son to a movie theater with a bunch of his friends. And this movie had so many murders and suicides in 20 minutes. I got up and I said, I want my money back. And he said, well, you've already been in there for 20 minutes. And I said, it doesn't matter. I'm really ticked off that you have this show in your movie theater with all these murders and it's addressing young kids. Come on. And they kind of agreed with me on it and they gave me my money back. But Jay has a second phone. Okay. Well, just ask Jay in the morning when he wakes up tell him at 11 to call me, please. I'm not going to call his second phone because he can call me with either phone when he's ready. I don't get why. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Gemstone said, yeah, she can't deal with those. Yeah. All right. Now, there was one game called Hatred, which was banned, I think. I only saw the trailer, and I was shocked, and I'm not easily shocked. Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I'm not easily shocked either, but I was like, this is too much. And I have for a long time thought somebody needs to get with the gaming industry that has something to do with this, where they would listen to them and say, look, let's look at the statistics. If you've watched the social dilemma, they show the statistics and how much they've risen with suicides, and it's frightening. So anybody, however we can help the kids, we should. However, and if one of them is, cutting out like huge violent things, or at least labeling it so that people know what they're getting into. Maybe they do. I don't know. But the one I was in, that somebody put me in, it was like, forget it. It was awful. All right, now let's see this. Tory, love Maddie's message, said that he's asking them to remind him to call you. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that, Keiko. All right, good. Yeah, I really appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you. And Little Sparrow is saying, I'm sorry, I meant mentally. Watching your child suffer mentally. I don't know. I never saw my child suffer mentally, and I don't think I saw kids suffer mentally. But a lot of my child was here at home. I homeschooled him, and then he went to Apple School, and that was great. I loved Apple School. There wasn't any suffering there. And then he went to Delphi, and he went to different schools, but it was like I made sure it was a good school. I went to Mace Kingsley, and that was sort of weird, but I wrote it up to Debbie Mace, and she said, okay, I told you guys this story anyway. It's like I didn't see this suffering that you talk about. And I want to know, did you actually see it, or you're just hearing it and thinking that that's happening? Because I wasn't ever part of that, where I saw children where they were suffering mentally. I mean, not any more than anybody else who suffers mentally. If you want your kid's childhood to end, give them a phone. Saw something like that on a meme. Wow, interesting. I don't know that that's true, but definitely, I think the best thing for parents is to have, set boundaries for your kid for how long they can be on the internet. Oh, this is good from YRB. I like that too. My favorite game is Scrabble, but I play it so that it is a combined board score goal, not individual wins and losses. Okay. All right. Another one I love board games. I love all kinds of board games. But one of them that I like is and it's going to sound really dorky because it is, but I like it. It's checkers. I really do. My son gave me a checkers set last Christmas, and we had a lot of fun playing it. It's just fun. It's simple. It's not complicated. We tried chess, and we're working on it, but it's difficult. It is. I mean, unless you really learn all the rules of it and all that stuff. But so far, neither of us have gotten into that. And my one friend tried to teach me about the Rubik's cubes, and oh my God, that was complicated. He was like, "This is going to be so simple. Wait till I show you." And he was like, "Did you get it?" And I said, "No." Oh, good. Love it. Loves playing checkers. Well, next time you're here, we'll have to play checkers. I like it. I love games. I really do. I used to love to play Clue and Monopoly and all those board games. I really did. Our family played them a lot. It was really fun. I got it, Eric. So he loves Uno as a card game. Yeah, Sophie thinks checkers is a good game. Yay, that checkers crowd. I know. I think it's good. I do. It's not complicated, and it's fun, and it's easy to play, and I don't know. I like it. We like it. So there you go. But I like simplicity. I don't like real complicated things. It gets to be too much, and it's too difficult. And I also love ping pong. I'm a big ping pong player. I love basketball. I love baseball. I mean, I grew up in a sports family, so we were very competitive. I mean, you name it, we were on it. And my last job, they had a checkers contest. They decided they were going to have a checkers contest. And so I signed up for it. And these are all 20, 30-year-olds at the most. And they said, "You're going to sign up for the ping pong contest?" And I said, "Hell yeah." And I came in second. The only girl that beat me was a Chinese girl who was really fast. But we used to play not checkers. If I said checkers, I meant ping pong. We used to play ping pong all the time, every day. Behind our house, we had a ping pong table and we'd go to town with it. We had a basketball hoop, so we'd play horse and all kinds of different basketball things. I used to play checkers with my grandpa. I have a picture of playing checkers with him. Oh, that's so sweet. Don't you just love pictures like that? It's so great. Oh, here we go. I can show you these. They're here's where they are. No, wait, that isn't it. Here's this Cash App. And these are all underneath Tory Magoo 44. It says for more information, and it has a little arrow. And these are their Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. So there you go. And those are all there. Okay, ping pong is harder than it looks, but I've never been good at things like that. Okay. We had to get good. I was with all men and my mother and I. My mother was very competitive too. So, oh wait, I got to get rid of this. She was she was really competitive. I mean, they played golf and bowling, and she was in a bowling league. And I mean, she looked like a professional bowler. I mean, it was amazing. She was a trip. She really was, because she was funny, she was smart, and she was competitive. Oh my God. Both she and my dad and my brothers and me, so we'd have these sports things all the time. And on our whole block, we'd get everybody involved and stuff. It was fun. It really was. It was a fun way to grow up. Okay, no, wait. Wow. Thank you for supporting Tory. Cash App. Okay. Oh, I see. Love It's putting it there. Okay. Okay, now this is Mace Kingsley is now in a relationship with a woman. So you mean Debbie Mace is in a relationship with a woman who was one of many wives of the Saudi arms dealer. Yeah, I know that. They both got divorced and are now together for 15 years. Unusual with lesbian couples in CFS. Yeah, I was there for that. I was. I mean, not for their, sexual thing, but I was there when, and I know about it because generally because of the Saudi guy, the arms dealer, and he was the top arms dealer in the world at the time, and the wife was at Flag when I was there, and they were like, "Okay, don't say anything, don't say anything. We're going to handle this." And apparently that her son didn't want her in Scientology. So they decided my husband could fly to the Riviera and handle her son. And I was like, "No, that's not going to happen. No, it's just not going to happen." I just didn't think it was a good thing for our marriage. And I wasn't going along with it for a number of reasons. And so what did they do? And normally on OT7, when you finish, it's a very long runway, and then you can attest. Harold went to Flag, found out about this thing about them wanting him to go handle the kid. They had him completed in 24 hours on a ship over to OT8, to the Free Winds. And I was pissed. It was like, what is this? So I'm talking to the examiner, who wasn't an examiner at the time. It was just a person. And I'm explaining this and going, this is ridiculous. They zoom him off to the free winds so I can't talk to him. And he goes, look, the free winds isn't where you think it is, which is usually in Kosovo or somewhere. It's like, very expensive to get there. He said, no, now it's in the Bahamas and it's only $85 round trip. So you can fly there and go talk to Harold. So I said, deal. So I got my ticket, flew to the free winds. And that's a whole different story I'll tell you. But anyway, he didn't go to the Riviera to handle the sun. But I knew all about it because of that. And I knew Debbie was in on that because she was really close with Carol Kingsley. And then as this happened, I knew Debbie and I thought she's going to be on this. And I didn't know if she was in it just to handle this lady or if she was really in it like in a relationship. Turns out it was a relationship. But I saw Carol about a year later and I said, where's Debbie? Because I hadn't seen her in a long time. And she goes, I don't know. And I go, you don't know? She used to live with her. I was like, you don't know? And she goes, no, I don't. And it was very like, no, I don't. Don't ask me another question. I was like, okay. So I'm not surprised. It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. It's like, yeah, they've 15 years. That would have been right. I mean, I've been out for 24 years. And this was when I was in right at the end. So, yep. Unbelievable. But Debbie wasn't married. She was a lesbian with Carol Kingsley, I think. I'm pretty sure. I can't attest to it, but that's what we all thought because they lived together. Sophie, aw. My granddad would play poker with us early in the morning, and we used matchsticks to bet. I love waking up early to play cards with him. Oh, that's such a great memory, isn't it? That's the thing that everyone has to get. If you're younger and you have children, now is the time to create these kind of memories. And if you're a grandparent, learn from what Sophie just said, because it's like those are indelible memories that'll be there forever. And they're easy. They're easy to create. You just have to do it. But it's really important. And it's kind of like she said, early in the morning, they'd wake up use matchsticks to bet. It's such a wonderful memory. I love that. Thank you. Okay, this is from Kim. Wow. There are or were some amazing people in CFS. Amazing meaning good or bad, extraordinarily. There were. That was kind of when I got in, there were tons of really cool people. And it was a different thing than it is now. I mean, now I would never join it, not ever. But back then it was fun. It was really a lot of fun. And there was this whole big thing of hope, which made me think of Bruce Springsteen with the thing of strength. It gives us strength, give us strength. Hope, give us hope. Faith, give us faith. And love, give us love. Or I may have them mixed up in the order, but anyway, I thought that was it. We had a lot of hope back in those early, 69, 70, and Hubbard was still developing things. So it was sort of like, well, maybe, okay, this didn't work, but this next thing will. So that's how it worked. Hi, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Jay, hey. Good evening, Tory. Do you have some spare time for us to meet tomorrow? Absolutely. We already made this plan. Call me after 11. 11 or after. Call me and we will definitely get together. So 100%, you're on my calendar. That's it. Okay, here's Sophie. I don't know, it vanished. Yes, Tori, my granddad was a really good man and I loved him so much. He was always up at 5 a.m. Yep, a lot of grandparents were. I know my grandfather was really great too. People always say I'm a great storyteller, and I always say it's because of my grandfather. I mean, he was a great storyteller. And isn't it great to have either, I had parents and grandparents, both really cool. Okay, good, Jay, you got it. All right, good, you got it. Woo! And here's Keiko. It's bedtime. All right, from me. Good night, Tory and Chad. I'm so glad Jay is coming to help you tomorrow. Love to you and JDSA. Absolutely. Well, it's a wonderful group of people. Make sure everybody hits the like button before you leave, or else we'll have to send the ethics officers after you. Yay for Jay. I know. That's going to be good. Thank you for helping Tory with the tech. Will you please check on monetization status? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on that. All right, kids. Well, I think that's it for the night. It's 12:45. It's Midnight with Magoo. We had Midnight with Magoo again. Anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know, or we'll end off for the night. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll wait a minute. I really like you guys. And look what Jay brought me. The way to happiness. Good night or good day. Thank you, love it. That's right. It is good night or good day. Night chat. See everyone tomorrow. Good night, Annette. Good night, Kim. Good night, Falling Star, with all your hearts. All right, Sophie, sleep tight. Thank you. I will. JDSA, excellent. You might also try to help her fix DOA's typo. Oh, yeah, on her PayPal. Good thinking. Keiko. Ooh, I hope if Jay's still on, please remember that. I don't know if he can. I don't think he can, but he can try. Maybe he can. Question, anywhere to raid? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't know anybody that's up this late. It could be, you know what? Is the fluffy, what is it? Fluffy Squirrel US UK? Isn't, because it's tomorrow for her. So you could go over there. Fluffy Squirrel UK. So if you want, you could go over there. That's the only thing I can think of. All right, you guys. Well, I love you. Thank you very much for coming on here. Thank you, love it, for helping us. And have a wonderful, sleepy, nice, or a wonderful new day tomorrow. All right. Okay. Give it a try. Okay. Good night. Thank you.